You wrote an article there during the week, obviously previewing the game today. In kind of the summing up of it, you kind of came down to saying that Drinagh would be the favourites today. Do you think something like that, giving one of the teams a tag, gives motivation to the other team?
Unfortunately, yes, I think it does. But I think in Bantry Bay Rovers' case, because they've already been relegated this season, they really come here with nothing to lose, and that's a dangerous tag to have on any team. The other thing I mentioned in the article as well was the fact that this year, when Bantry Bay Rovers had a full strength squad out, they really tested Drinagh in the league, and Drinagh only beat them, I think, by a last minute goal. And this is the same Bantry Bay Rovers team that put out Dunmanway Town, the Premier Division champions, that's the only game they've lost domestically all year. So Drinagh, with their experience, with their ability to score from multiple areas, definitely on paper at least are the favourites coming in here. But I think it's going to be a very, very close final, and it wouldn't surprise me if it went beyond 90 minutes. I've seen Bay Rovers recently in the relegation playoff against Ballyhob. They played quite well, just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. So it's a big ask. I think it's a big ask for them, considering just how good Drinagh are. But I think they'll test them, but Rangers should come out on top in the end.
A lot of times finals can be quite cagey affairs, I think. You know, a lot of people there's such a big build up to it, and then when it gets to the game, both teams are maybe a bit nervous to open up and would be afraid to concede the first goal. So do you think if in this scenario that if Bantry Bay came out of the starting blocks, we'll say, and got an early goal, do you think that might make for a better game?
Absolutely. I think that's what everyone's hoping for, actually. I think if Rovers score first, Rangers will come at them. But I think, having seen Rangers in recent weeks as well, I mean, look, they've got Garrod White's in great form, they've got the Beamishes, they've got Keith Jago, they've got Rob Regan holding on midfield, and they've got Barry O'Driscoll, H as we call him, up front. They really are dangerous from all areas of the pitch. Once they move it into the final third, they can move the ball right across the pitch, and they can hurt you in different areas. If Drinagh score first, the consensus is that Bantry will just have to come out and start playing. I would imagine both teams, like any cup final, as you said, will try and keep it tight for the first 10-15 minutes. But if you manage to score in that time, you can change the whole complexion of the game. And the one thing with Rovers is, and the reason I mentioned it and you mentioned it, it's one thing if they score first, but they have pace. And they have pace to burn on both wings. They got the McElhenney, they've got a few McSween, they've got a couple of good young players. If you put the ball in front of them, they're going to turn that Rangers back four. It would be great if they scored first, but I think even if Rangers were to score first, that'll bring the opposition out as well. And looking at the talent in both teams, it should be a good cup final. It should be a quality cup final. If it's anything like the under-14 game that went before, we're in for a treat. But again, that bit of experience, that ability to close opposition down and to see out matches, I think will stand to Drinagh in the long run.
Just kind of moving on to the day itself, overall, how do you think, or how big do you think it is for the West Cork League to have the Beamish Cup Final here in Turner's Cross in Cork?
It's huge, and it's huge because irrespective of the attendance, you don't judge occasions like this on the attendance. I think both teams will be well supported anyway. You judge it on the fact that it's another step in the right direction for the West Cork League. It's not perfect, everybody knows that, same as any other soccer league. There's things right and wrong with it every season. But bringing your showpiece event to a stadium, a League of Ireland stadium, is an important step. Now, there are people that gripe about taking it out of West Cork, and is that the right or the wrong thing? Well, I can tell you from the West Cork schoolboys' point of view, we've done that over the last 3 years, and it's been fantastic. I mean, you break even on the day in terms of the gate, but the idea is that you raise the profile of the league that bit further. How many other leagues in Cork and beyond use Turner's Cross for their cup finals? Why shouldn't West Cork? We've got quality players here. We've got an Oscar trainer panel now that's coming back, had a really good year on the representative side at interleague level, and I think just across the board there's so many good players in West Cork. They have every right to show what they can do on a stage like this, and the pitch is looking fantastic. It's a great stadium, and as a player, and as you and I both know, we never got the chance to play here, and I would have loved to have had an opportunity to play a cup final here. I hope the occasion doesn't get some of the players in the teams, because it can, and it's not just the fact that it's a stadium or that there's a crowd here. It's, you know, it can get to players irrespective of where you play it. But I hope this is the start of a partnership with the Munster Football Association, who have been fantastic to both the West Cork Schoolboys League and the West Cork Master League in allowing us in here. I hope it's befitting of the occasion and of the stadium itself.
I think just kind of touching on the fact that it's up here as well, another big aspect is probably the incentive for fans to come out. You know, I think if it was being played in West Cork, obviously it's local, you don't maybe have that far to travel to go to it, but I think when people kind of find out, it's in Turner's Cross, make a day of it.
And it's presented in a professional manner. I mean, you're here covering it, like all the local newspapers, the Irish Examiner is covering it. I mean, it just shows you again that their soccer is alive and well in West Cork. Now, it's a small pocket. It has to compete with a lot of other sports, GA, rowing, bowling, you name it, and athletics for kids and for adults alike. But days like today show it at its best. And I think a final with the amount of quality players that we've seen, young and old, and experienced players on the pitch, I think we should be in for a treat.
Back to the game just before we finish speaking. I'm going to put you on the spot here with two kind of different questions. Number one, who do you think are the one key player on each team, and number two, who do you think it's for?
The key players definitely, I think, today on such an important day for Drinagh, I think are going to be Keith Jago and probably Robert O'Regan in the centre of the park. They make things, they set the tempo, they make things happen, and they also protect their back four, which is a key thing. Now, they've got a strong back four anyway, but I think the more those two guys are on the ball, the more likely Drinagh are to hurt Rangers or to hurt Rovers in the final third. From Bantry's point of view, Brian Donovan, their captain, Paul Drummy, experienced back four as well, and they've got a really good goalkeeper in Donal Casey. And one thing we haven't mentioned as well from Drinagh's point of view is their goalkeeper situation. Rob Oldham looks like he's going to play, a very experienced player, played down through the years, but Liam Callan's injury, unfortunately, which has ruled him out, and get well soon, Liam. I don't think that's going to be a big factor because Rob's so experienced. What it will come down to is who takes their chances and who's more clinical in front of goal. And when you put those two sets of forwards in front of me, Drinagh all day long. And that's no disrespect to the Bantry guys, but Drinagh have been here before. They've already won a couple of trophies. They've won one trophy. They're in the final of another one. They're on a good run right now, and I think their forwards, especially Barry O'Driscoll and Garrod White, watch out for him. I think those two guys could turn it, and I think will eventually turn it in their favour. Perfect.
Thank you very much for speaking with us, Ger.
No problem at all.
Enjoy the game.
I will.
First off, how do you feel kind of being here for the Beamish Cup Final in a stadium like Turner's Cross?
It's terrific. It's a great boost to the West Cork League. It's the first time anyone is here, and it is a privilege and an honour to be one of the first teams to actually play here. We played here in the Munster Junior Cup semi-final 2007, and that was a great honour in itself. But this is our own local competition, so it's even better again.
Kind of talking about the build up to the game, a lot of people, especially in the papers and stuff like that, were kind of putting down Drinagh as a favourite. Do you see that as a kind of nearly a target on your back for Bantry to have a bit of motivation in that sense?
Oh sure, that'll be the first thing they will say. That's the first target they have, that's the first motivation. But look, it's 11 against 11 on the day. It's going to be a tough game. Anything can happen in a cup final. The greatest of sides in the world have got cut finals, so we're no different. We're going in with realistic ambitions. Yes, we are favourites. Yes, we have a good chance, and if we play to our capabilities, we should be able to win. But having said that, on any given day, one slip of a ball or one slip of a player and it can all change.
There's obviously a lot of build up in the village back home. How important do you think the support here today for Drinagh is going to be?
Oh, support is always vital. The bit of encouragement from the sideline can but help. It won't put extra pressure on the player. It'll encourage them to try that little bit harder.
There was obviously a big loss a couple of weeks ago with Liam Callan, and now with Rob going in goal. How do you feel that might be a factor in the game? I know obviously Rob's quite experienced, but I don't think he was expecting to be playing in a cup final towards the end of the year. So do you think that might play a little bit of a factor in the game if the pressure's on Drinagh in the back?
I wouldn't think so, no. Rob is an experienced player. He's had played in all sorts of occasions, in all sorts of games. His experience will I suppose counterbalance what the lack of experience Liam would have had. Liam was a younger man obviously and a fine keeper, and we were delighted to get him back into the setup this year. But we're equally as blessed to have someone like Rob who was coaching and mentoring Liam all the time to step in, and I'm sure he'll do a great job.
I won't put you on the spot for a result, but I'll say best of luck for the day, Dick, and thanks for speaking with us.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. Danny, the first thing is obviously bringing the club Bantry Bay up here to Turner's Cross. How proud do you feel to do that?
Fantastic occasion, brilliant. It's great for our young lads who came through to get to play here. It is great for the older lads who will be shortly finishing up to get the chance to be in Turner's Cross. So it's a great occasion for the club.
Is there, I haven't been around Bantry much, but is there much support you're expecting to come up to today to be cheering you on?
I'll be honest with you, it's a guess really, because I stayed completely away from the supporter side. I had my own personal problems with my family, and so I just concentrated on the team and make sure they were all ready and fit to come out here today.
A good distraction in one way.
Yeah, well, in one way. I mean, I lost both my parents in the last 2 months, so kind of preoccupied, with different things. But we're ready for it. We're ready to come out here.
Moving back to the obviously the game on today, it's one thing that I've been kind of speaking to about other people in the papers in the build-up. Obviously, Drinagh, with their history and the squad that they have, they're down as favourites. Do you see that as a bit of a motivation for the guys in the squad?
I prefer to be the underdog, to be honest with you. Drinagh are a long-established club. They have a great pedigree. They have a great youth system. They deserve to be here. I think we have over the years built up the club. Our under-8 structure doing very well. We won every league we entered this year. We got into a couple of cup finals, shield finals. I think we're ready for this. We're ready. The boys can't wait just to kick the ball, just get the game on the road and get on with it.
For you, you've got a kind of a nice balance of a few of the more experienced players playing in West Cork and a few young fellas in the squad as well. How important do you think fellas like Brian and Paul are to the younger fellas to push them on and just kind of be there and the calming influence on the day itself?
I think it's very important because the young fellas will learn from the older fellas. They talk them through the game, they give them advice, they don't be giving out them, they don't be roaring or shouting at them. So it's a great experience for the young lads to listen to them, and they will only grow from that and get better as time goes on. So it's very important.
And for yourselves, again, the game itself, and as we spoke about the whole kind of underdog aspect of it, how important do you think it is for you guys to come out of the blocks and try and get an early goal, get something on the board?
Well, to get an early goal would be fantastic, of course, and let Drinagh come out, and that will open them up, I'd say we're fast on the counter-attacks. We've young lads playing up front. They're fit, they're fast, the wings are fast, solid defence, long balls into the fast lads. Once they have to come at us, we can explore that and we will punish them for it, hopefully.
Well, I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask for the results, so I'll leave you back to the lads and enjoy the day, and best of luck with the game as well, Danny. Thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Rob, how does it feel to be here in Turner's Cross? Start of the year, you obviously had kind of come into the squad as a backup goalkeeper, and now you're starting a game. Were you expecting this?
Well, actually, I came in 2 years ago, and this year I actually came into the deck and Don about giving Liam all the best experience as I could. It's been a few years in the game, but he's had an excellent season. Unfortunately, he picked up a really nasty injury a few weeks back, and I'm just lucky to be here, to be honest, to hopefully keep a clean sheet, win the cup. So I'm here for now, to be honest.
Do you think that mentioning the clean sheet, do you think that's an important aspect of the game for Drinagh, to keep the ball out? That if they get the one goal, that they could actually sit back and it could be a hard day's work.
Could possibly. Cup games can go anyway. It's a 50-50 game, 2-horse race, and I don't count this for any team being favourites. I've played in too many games, seen so many experiences where favourites have lost games I should have won. So I'm just going into the game with fully focused to win the game in the story.
Having now obviously been involved with the team for a good bit and having a decent enough season, maybe coming up a bit short in the league, but having a good run in the cup and stuff like that. Who do you think has been kind of the important player in the run up to this final? Who do you think will be important today?
I think Rob's experience middle of the park will count for a lot in a day like today. He's been outstanding. He started the year with the second team, but he wasn't long getting the call up. But since he's come in, he's been absolutely outstanding. Always takes a touch, has a look, keeps it very simple. He's been outstanding there, and he's Keith alongside him there in the middle, who's an absolute workhorse. Rob's my man now, to be honest. He's my man to be looking to.
We mentioned the underdog tag for Bantry. How do you think they're going to react to that? Do you think that's going to make it a little bit tougher?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't count in with regards to underdogs in cup finals. It's 50-50, as far as I'm concerned. I got to go there, lads.
Rob, I'll let you back to him. Thanks. John, how important do you think it is now to be bringing games like this, the prestige, in the season finale to places like Turner's Cross?
Well, it's a massive stadium. They've built up a massive stadium here over the years. Unreal for West Cork to come up here. Since the announcement was made that the game was going to be here, the Beamish Cup Final, a lot of the lads were really looking forward, including our own lads, and unfortunately we didn't make it, but they were looking forward, especially as you see Cork City now, and they're on television every second night of the week and they play in Turner's Cross. Unbelievable stuff.
Well, when you think the team that are top of the league in Ireland, this is their home ground and this game is being played here. So
exactly, and the two probably the best teams that turned out in West Cork in Cup competition. Here they are this evening and this afternoon, and they probably to be the biggest game for some of them guys, and especially if Eddie Fella is retiring. It's nice to go out on a day like today, or any young fella coming on. He sees Cork City boys here, and maybe someday he'll be playing for Cork City.
Is this something that you look at kind of doing on a regular basis at the end of seasons?
Well, probably we'll look at the results of today and how it worked out and how people took to it, and hopefully so. Yeah, hopefully so. That may bring other smaller finals in West Cork. Maybe have 2 games under one day, maybe even, which would make a crowd and an atmosphere.
Well, you had the under 14 final, I think it was earlier as well, between Skibbereen and Arthur, which Skibbereen won, and I heard it from, I wasn't here myself, but I'd heard it was a cracking final. You see, so it kind of adds, I think, to the day as well when you get a game like that.
Oh, certainly. And young fellas again. You see, just a while ago I was watching the young lads all running out there on the pitch for a kick around. So they're especially for the young fellas in Skibbereen. I believe a lot of the Kennedy Cup team lined out with more teams this morning. They'll go on to play with big clubs and bigger occasions for them as well. So it's a start for them at 14 even. So please God to move on.
I don't want to be putting you on the spot asking the questions, but how do you think today? How do you see it going? Which team do you think will come out and going to be a bit stronger?
Probably have to go for Drinagh. They're the experienced side. Our own team played the Rovers in the Cup semi-final. We were unlucky, so we think that if we were here, we'd have cut off it as well. So I think Drinagh will have the upper hand. And best luck to both sides anyway. And it's the occasion more than anything.
Perfect, John. I'll leave it on that note. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Cheers. You can ask me the questions.
How do you think this will go?
I'm impartial.
You are like fuck.
I have to be impartial. Oh, language now. I'm going to have to beep that out. Nicholas?
Yeah?
How does it feel to be up in Turner's Cross watching Drinagh?
Was here before.
How does it feel to be up in Turner's Cross today?
Again.
Today watching Drinagh?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Is that all you got to say on that?
4-0.
Sure, 4-0. You're already giving. I haven't even asked you what. Who do you think is going to be the important player for Drinagh today?
Barry Halton.
Yeah.
He scored them.
Yeah. So you think it's going to be a goal?
Maybe JJ scored one. JJ Hurley.
Yeah, you're putting it on record there.
He don't score.
So you're going for a big win for Drinagh then?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't think Bantry have a chance?
Fuck it, no.
No. Have you put it out? I'm going to beep that out as well now. Keep the language good. So if you think Bantry score first, do you think that'll make a difference? You think Drinagh are going to overpower him?
They'll tighten up, but we still too much gas.
Yeah. Have you got a bit of money running on it?
No. I was asked for 72.
72?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You have to give win 20, lose 70. Touchman scratch his ass. Get me to school now.
Any final word for the lads today?
Celebrations tonight. Good luck now.
Thanks, Niels. and he's got the merchandise on as well. I love it. Drinagh are going to give you a bit of sponsorship money for that as well.
I hope we get paid for this.
Oh yeah, Drinagh, I'll get back onto him. You've got that. You've got the hat on.
I'm to Donal, I'll take it off. Really pockets. You can see that from there. Best you have.
Very dark. Stay with him, Tom. Stay with him.
Harry, go, JJ, cover! on, good stuff. Daniel, one behind cover and one in front. And just Owen, stay at the top of the circle. Anything else to say, that's wrong. Come on, Owen. Get back to pick 14. Get back on him. Come on, Schindler, stay wide, Schindler, stay wide, stay wide! Stay wide from! Kevin! That's it, Tom! Free, well done! Well done, Tommy! Daniel on your shoulder! Donal, I hope you got that. That's it, Jimmy! Well done, Jimmy!
Fantastic setup. This is Paul McDermott, referee. John Carter, assistant. Mark Captain, please. Rovers captain. No. Everybody get the chance. Play Rovers. Can we play Rovers captain, please? Let's go.
That was the prediction. We'll never hear the end of it.
No, work away.
No, you were supposed to.
I'd like to thank Rovers for a good game, lads, good fair game. Look, you're a good club, lads, you played under 18, you'll be back here again before long, so thanks. Well done. Stanley. Good job. Stanley. Collins. Rob Regan. You're on way.
Beamish has had to be supported, given funding this competition, so I'm sure you've thought that out later on. Paddy can walk you below, that's what Donal can tell me, so let's see what will be worthwhile. I suppose the man we need to thank as well is Steve Brownfeld. I think a round of applause for Steve because not only Cox is playing here, all the other leagues have all their finals here, so you know we have a big dry spell and the pitch is still in great order. We also have one more presentation to make, that is man of the match. We have sponsored by the team, Sonic Team of Crew, sponsoring the Beamish Cup and with West Cork League for them over the last 20 years, so the same thing applies that we have to have our sponsors, so that needs us nearly. Man of the match is JJ Horby.
Yeah, pretty go, yeah. Alright. Well, first off, lads, well done. Besides winning the actual trophy, how did it feel winning it in Turner's Cross?
Well, I suppose that at my age and here, Rob's as well, we probably won't get the chance again, so it's just great to get a chance to play it up here.
Obviously, Bantry gave you a very tough game, but the first half it was very, very neck and neck, and obviously you got the goal ahead going into half time. How important was the quick goal at the start of the second half?
Yeah, sure, I suppose you've seen as the game went on, once we got the second and third goal, I think they kind of died, and we kind of kept pressing, and they didn't really get a chance in after that. So I suppose the first two goals in the second half were very important that way, you know.
And was that something that you discussed at half time? Get out of the traps quickly?
Jeez, I know, we weren't discussing much of that.
We didn't expect to score that fast, like, so, do you know? It just threw him, probably. Then we scored 2 goals, I'd say, in the first 3 minutes, probably, of the game.
Yeah, but that's the intensity that we wanted to start off the second half, and thankfully it paid off for us. I suppose we tried to start off the game that way, but it didn't work out because we started off kind of slowly. But we learned from that in the second half. We started off at a high intensity and it paid off for us at the end.
Do you feel it was the type of game that you kind of settled into the longer it went on?
Oh, it took us about 10 or 15 minutes to settle down.
They had a lot of quick players up front. They got in behind a few times. They looked dangerous. Were you kind of worried at any point when it was still 1-0?
Yeah, not really
just
worried.
Do your job, like.
Make sure that we didn't make any mistakes. I suppose it's the biggest thing.
You have to withstand some bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Do you know?
And how did you feel getting man of the match there at the end?
Well, I think that was a bit.
Well, worried.
I doubt it. I wouldn't think there was better fellas out there. But.
No.
Lads, I'll let you back to the celebration.
Right, thanks for the chat.
Well, first half, lads, well done. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Very happy, God almighty, delighted, thrilled. it couldn't be better. It couldn't have gone better for us.
Happy, relieved, of course. There's always tension going to a cup final. Like, you don't know how it's going to turn out, but yes, happy and relieved and delighted and a mix, a bag of emotions at the moment, to be honest.
Drinagh, to be fair, looking overall, especially in the first half, he had good control in the game, but it was only 1-0 going at half time. Were you expected to be that tight from the word go?
Yeah, I mean, they're a Premier League team. I know they got relegated, but they played well in the first half. I think the key goal, we got one just before half time, we got one just after half time, and that had knocked any team, to be fair. I thought they were in the game until then, but the goal just after half time, and we got a second one pretty much straight away, that seemed to knock them. They were thrown from the start of the second half, and to be fair, they had fought very well for the first 40 minutes. They're a good side. I'm delighted. I thought we played very well. Our lads stood up to today, and that was great.
Was that part of the talk at half time, was to get back out there and get that goal as quickly as possible, settle the game down?
We were saying at half time like that the key would be the next goal, like, and happily enough it fell for us straight away, like, so that really put them back on their heels then, like, and that was the plan. Our plan would be to drive on. You'd be always trying to push home your advantage. You wouldn't be trying to stand back or just soak up pressure like that. That isn't the way we play, like, so we go out and try and push it home and finish it, like.
Well, I guess in most games, as you said, it's kind of certain goals are very vital, and once you've got the second one, again it comes back to the whole point of if they got one back, then it's 2-1 all of a sudden and the pressure's back on. But did you expect to get another one as quickly?
Well, I suppose I thought we started, once we got the second one, we looked as though we were going to open them up, and there was about 15 minutes there where we were opening them up, and like we're carrying with Barry and Gavin and Tomas and Garrod, we're carrying serious goal threat all the time, and it is one of the things that has happened this year with us, that we just seem to be able to get goals, and all the lads have contributed, and it looked as I felt that once we'd scored the second one, I thought that it looked as though there was another one coming, and Barry took that really well as well. He took a super goal, to be fair.
What do you think it means to the club, being able to not just lift the trophy today, but lift it here in Turner's Cross?
Oh, sure, it's special. Yeah. This is the home of football in Cork or Munster, for that matter, and to be able to play here, it must be like, I wish I was 30 years younger that I could be playing myself, like the thrill of that.
20 years back, you'd still be out there.
20 years, well, no, I'd give it 30.
He was trying when he was 20 years ago, right?
But no, it's special, and what it means to the people in Drinagh, like, it's a boost for people. Look, anytime you win a match or win a cup or win a game, it's always a boost to the local people. Sure, like, if you're not winning, they have nothing to talk about, something to talk about, and it's something to move on again with next year, like, so.
Joe and Marie are going to be very happy with your Gaelic bar anyway, so.
Well, I'd say we might see the Gaelic bar, we might see Anne and Conwest as well for a little while, I'd imagine. So we'll go and enjoy this evening now. Lads have put in an awful lot of work. There's an awful lot of Friday nights and Sunday mornings and shitty old weather in the bad times of the winter and things like that lads have put in a whole pile of work. I think today was our 30th game or 31st game. It's a lot of games to play, so
there is, and our lads take it seriously as well. They mind themselves on Saturday night, so, like, which is, it might sound like a small thing, but it can mean the difference at the end of the day, like on a Sunday. And they're young people, they want to go out and enjoy themselves, so, like, it's a sacrifice on their part too, and it shows how interested and dedicated they are in the game and in the team.
Yeah. Just one final note for next season. Obviously the league didn't go your way this year. Is this your kind of way of laying down the gauntlet now for the new year and push on for next season?
I'll tell you what, we'll worry. We're playing Tor next Sunday in the Premier Final, and we'll worry about that, and then after that we'll think about next season. But then the next thing, we were talking about it today, we Tor would be great old buddies of ours over the years, and we'd like to it's great to finish the season playing them. We're going to try to win that game next week, and we'll see where we go.
One step at a time, as they say.
One step at a time, yeah. One game at a time.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of the evening. 4-0 in the end. Did you expect it to be that big a gap?
Honestly, no. I think, in fairness to Bantry Bear Rovers, they've shown at various stages throughout the year that they can hang with the best teams. We spoke about it before the cup final itself, beating Dunmanway Town on their home ground, and they've generally not conceded an awful lot of goals at some of the game when they've had their full team out. So it's disappointing for them, yes. A 4-0 scoreline doesn't look great, but I think anyone that was here for the full 90 minutes for most of the first half, they matched Drinagh. They were more than a match for them. I think that first half goal kind of edged it Drinah's way, but it was the 2 goals immediately after the break that really hurt them. And I know Danny Peters and I know the lads that play in defence for Bay Rovers, and like conceding 2 goals from free kicks like that, pretty routine, would be disappointing. But you have to look at the overall scheme of things for a team that was relegated just recently and that is having a phenomenal year underage in the West Cork Schoolboys League. The future is still very, very bright for Bantry.
Did you, when the teams went in at half time, and obviously again it was a very tight game, even though you would kind of say overall Drinagh had the control of it and obviously had the goal, did you expect it to turn so fast in the second half?
No, I mean, when you see JJ Hurley knocking in the header, you know it's going to be your day. No offence, JJ is a great defender, but for the size of him to get up and to plant the header in the back of the net, and I think they panicked a little bit. I think I spoke to Danny Peters just after the game, and they were trying to change things around a bit, and it was a great goal by Barry Driscoll, the 1-2, just to put it into the bottom corner, and you worried for them then. I know when the heads go, and it can, a team like Drinagh who are clinical and very, very good at finishing. Jago hit the post from a deflected shot, and Donal Casey made another great save, so it could have been a lot worse. But I was surprised, not surprised at the goals, but surprised that Bay conceded from free kicks, and I think they will be too. I think there are things that they kind of pride themselves on, and against Ballyhob in the relegation playoff, they were brilliant at the back. They gave nothing away from free kicks. Now the goal eventually came, that relegated them, came from a corner and a kind of a mix-up. But on days like today, it's experience that counts, it's your finishing that counts, and it's just having that little extra step and a bit of know-how on occasions like this. And you look all over the pitch: JJ Hurley, Keith Jago, Rob Regan, Barry Driscoll, the 2 Barry Driscolls, and in goal a word too for Rob Oldham, keeping a clean sheet. Fair play to him. This was Drinah's day, and I don't think Bay can really have any issues.
I think from having watched JJ play for a number of years in the backline for Drinagh, no one could doubt his aerial ability. For a man that might be lacking in a bit of height compared to some other guys, he can get up well.
I'm probably comparing him to myself there, to be fair. JJ is going a long, long time. I think he's got 7 Premier League medals or something, at least that. And it just shows you that the community spirit that's around the club as well in Canon Crowley Park, and what Don Hurley and Declan Deasy have kept together. And they spoke about the sacrifices, the effort that the squad put in year after year, and winning the cup, it's their second trophy. They could win a third one next weekend against Toher Celtic. They'll want to come back next year. They'll want the league off them.
Yeah, that was the question I was going to ask you. How do you think that I think it's going to be very competitive. When you look the last 2 seasons, 2 different champions, neither of them being Drinagh as well, and Drinagh winning this, so it's going to be a very competitive top end of that league next year.
Even though Don and Declan won't say it, the players probably won't say it just yet. They want to enjoy this and they want to focus on finishing off the campaign. They want that Premier Division title back, and they especially want it back off Dunmanway. I can tell you that for certain. It should make for a cracking season next year. I mean, you've Spartak Moscow back up from Division 1 as well.
Yeah, Power Day Walk, two seasons in a row, 2 promotions.
More than capable of holding their own. I've seen a good bit of them now as well. And you've got Clonakilty AFC, you've got Tor, so it's a quality Premier Division. But when it comes to cup competitions, I think the big thing about today is when Drinagh obviously will take the headlines, but the whole occasion and the history behind the West Cork League, playing it here at Turner's Cross and performing and putting on a great show, I think that's huge for the league going forward, that they can come back here again maybe next year or the year after. But fair play to Drinagh, and in fairness, commiserations to Bantry Rovers, but the better team won, and the better finishing team won, definitely. And it points to a very, very competitive season next year, as you said, at the top tier.
Something to look forward to.
Oh yeah, always with the West Cork League. Yeah.
George, thanks very much for your time.
No bother.
Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Okay, we got everything. Rory,
I'll take a picture.
Come on, Tina. Woo! Give us champions again there.